What can the Bucks do to win this series?
Giannis has to be a superstar. He has to be a superstar. Those same numbers that you see from him during the regular season, he's got to do that in the playoffs. But here's what he has to do. He's the only person, first of all, nobody, in my opinion, really has a chance to do it. But if anybody has a chance to defend respectably against Kevin Durant, it's the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. The length, the athleticism, he's got to show up, and he's going to have to be a formidable opposition to KD. Because let me tell you something, Kyrie and James Harden are going to do their thing, but I think collectively Milwaukee's defense could hang tough. I think KD is going to be the difference maker. You cannot let him destroy you at his will. Somebody's going to have to try to put him in check in order to knock off the Brooklyn Nets. That's what it's going to come down to.
The difference maker is going to be James Harden because he can run D'Antoni's system now with D'Antoni on the bench there under Steve Nash, except instead of second-rate weapons, he has KD and Kyrie. And by the way, guys like Joe Harris, his fourth option. This is what the Bucks can do, Stephen A. They can be very, very aggressive offensively early in the series. And the reason I say that is because early on, before I really believed in the Nets, their defense was the worst of all time. They're the best offense of all time, literally, per 100 possessions, and the worst defense of all time. And within 2 or 3 weeks, they had a respectable enough defense, sort of mid-pack defense. Well,
More
everyone
like
got healthy again, and they gotta and now they gotta get it together defensively. The offense is fine. I mean, it could be better, but it'll get better. The question is, has there been enough time for that defense to start getting connected? If the answer is no, the Bucks have to be extremely aggressive offensively early in the series especially, and maybe they can jump up 2 games to 1 and have a chance to win it. Because if they're not, the Nets will roll them.
All right, we'll keep going, guys. Earlier this week, we saw Trae Young take a bow, Stephen A. remembers, on one of basketball's biggest stages after knocking out the Knicks in the Garden. And Ben Simmons, triple-double, helping rout the Wizards at home, and now they'll meet each other. Max, bigger key to this series, Trae Young or Ben Simmons?
It's actually Ben Simmons. You know, Trae Young does the thing that's easy to understand. He scores, and that's very, very important. And he's fearless, and he scores from everywhere. Ben Simmons doesn't do that. He can't shoot, and Trae Young really can. You know what Ben Simmons does? Ben Simmons does, this is almost not hyperbolic. This is almost like, literally, just about every single thing else, as well as anyone who's ever played has ever done them. Think about that. He's an all-world defender. We'll remember Ben Simmons' defense year from now. Can guard all 5 positions, many of them at a totally elite level. I keep bringing it up, has created more looks from 3 for teammates than anyone since entering the league. He has absurd handles for a guy who's 6'10". He's lightning fast. He has hops. He has superior court vision and is an all-time great passer. So he does every single other thing like at an all-time elite level except shoot. Give me that guy, Stephen A. Defense wins championships.
You're wrong. And you're wrong because when you look at a Tobias Harris, when you look at the Seth Curry, when you look at the defensive wizardry that you've pointed out on numerous occasions of both Ben Simmons and Thibault, then this is what it comes down to. It comes down to Trae Young resembling the Trae Young that he looked like against the New York Knicks. See, what you did against the New York Knicks, you had an abundance of opportunities to do it because the New York Knicks couldn't hit the backside of Broadway if they were standing on it. That was their damn problem. That's not going to be the Philadelphia 76ers' problems. They've got dudes like Maxey and Tobias Harris and Seth Curry and Danny Green who can make shots. Of course, Ben Simmons is going to facilitate them making shots because he's going to feed them the basketball because he's an exceptional playmaker with a high basketball IQ. But for the Atlanta Hawks, if Trae Young plays the way that he played, averaged 29 and 10 against the New York Knicks, doing what he's capable of doing, he's not just a shooter. He's not just a scorer. He's a ball handler, and he's an incredible passer as well. This brother can pass the basketball. And if you're getting Collins and Herter and Hunter and all of these dudes involved in the offense the way you're capable of doing, the way you showed everybody you could do against the New York Knicks, then the Philadelphia 76ers could be in a world of trouble without a healthy Joel Embiid.
You hear what Simmons told Seth Curry before the last game?
I did not.
Playing video games before the game, he said, I'm going to need 30 out of you. I'll do the rest. I'll get my, but I need you to go for 30 tonight. And what happened? You talk about leadership and stuff. There you go.
Guys, we have like 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. I just want to get to it. Max, how dangerous are the Nuggets? Obviously, no Jamal Murray. They face the Suns. CP3 banged up. What do you think?
It's a shame that Jamal Murray's not healthy because I think they could get out of the West. Even without Jamal Murray, maybe they get out of the West. Jokic is the best player in every series he's in, and that'll continue to be the case throughout the Western Conference. He'll be the best player in every single series. And they have a deep backcourt. No Jamal Murray, but a lot of guys who can score, who can handle. The Nuggets are live to get out of the West, Stephen A.
Let me tell you something right now, man. You can say that they're live, and I believe you. And I ain't taking anything away from Jokic because he's the real deal. I have a vote. I voted him as my league MVP. No apologies there. But I got something to tell you. Jamal Murray getting hurt has pushed Michael Porter Jr. to the forefront. And this brother is special. This brother's special. I'm going to tell you how special Michael Porter is. Forget the 18 points that he averaged in this first round series. What am I looking at? He shot 53% from the field, 41.5% from three-point range, had 22 points in the first quarter in Game 6. You want me to tell you the ultimate thing that you need to know about Michael Porter Jr.? We actually get to sit here and say the great, phenomenal executive that is Jerry West made a mistake. Remember when he was with the Clippers, Max, even though it was a consultant, they had the 13th and the 12th pick. And both picks, he passed up because he was worried about his back. Yep. We're looking at, that's how great Michael Porter looks right now. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.